Welcome to the world of Kenny Candlesticks. Watch as a green joker opens a magical book, and charts and patterns explode into view. Prepare for insights and strategies. Your trading journey starts here. Get ready for the show with Kenny. Subscribe and turn on the notifications.
Hello everybody, I hope you're having a wonderful morning, and today I'd like to go over the XRP price chart. So I got a couple things to talk about today. We did get a little bit of movement this week in the past couple days. It looks as though XRP is going through a bottoming process, and we're just going to take a look at that. We're going to compare this last weekend's price action to the weekend before, and we're also going to talk about this bottom here and what we're going to be looking for next. So we did get a move up here, and we went ahead and we're starting to move upwards. I'm going to make this easier for everyone to see, but first I'd like just to address this chart here. So this was your huge liquidation wick sell-off. We talked about it in the last couple videos, and this level right here was an important level. We knew going all the way back it was 2.7, and we could see it already on the order books. There was a liquidity band or a liquidity wall in place there with a good amount of resting orders, and as price wicked down, this was the second time to this level, this was the third time to this level. The other first one is further back in the chart, but every time we wicked down to 2.7, we got large absorption, which means that large amounts of orders were actually filled at this level, and a lot of volume took place. And if you structure a wall at 2.7, you don't want price to just slice right through it if you plan to defend that wall. So it's not going to break cleanly. It touches the wall, barely absorbs. You know, they did it in thirds, but barely absorbs a few orders, and then boom, gets pushed back away and the wall gets defended. They don't want to let price fall through. And by they, I mean the people that are structuring the order books, and it's almost like the Wild West compared to stocks. Crypto is it's unregulated, and so it's actually sometimes easier to see what liquidity providers are structuring the books as. So what we got here, we talked about this level, this blue level, the TVP. The TVP, we said price is going to come back down to this blue line because there's an imbalance and the books weren't even on both sides. So when you got these flat bottom moves away on the 15-minute time frame for Binance, when you get these moves away, someone else has to take the other side of that order. If there's too many buys, someone has to sell a buy to fill these orders, and you can tell that the liquidity providers are actually off sides in some of these areas. It's not a huge deal, you know, they manage a lot of different risks. Not a big deal to them, but it ends up showing on the chart. And we can go ahead and take a look at it. So we talked about the TVP, where I believe price goes down to and fills out clean price action. That light blue line here, and it definitely got taken. It got respected as a level. Then we dropped even lower here, and I said that 2.7283. If we get a daily close below this level, then we were going to be in major trouble. But we did not get a daily close. On the daily time frame, this was a wick here, possibly two wicks, and then you got your return before you ever closed down in this level, which was great, and we really like to see that. But as price chopped sideways, we were concerned that it was possible we were going to get another fall. So as far as this original TVP, we're done with that. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up the chart. I'm going to delete that. And then now you're looking at this TVP here. We talked about that on the channel, and you're done with that. Price respected this area. Same type of thing, same type of deal. And you respected this area, and then you got your move away after filling out price action. So as far as XRP goes, we did get a move up. If you guys remember from a few videos ago, we talked about that illiquid weekend of September the 6th. And so fast forward to last weekend, and what did we get? So we got this price action over here for Saturday and then for Sunday. So that was last weekend, right? After making this diving board by Bukowski, the diving board pattern, and moving away and having it actually validate as a real bullish pattern here. I would say at this point it's been successful. You know, you got your diving board down here, come down, double bottom, come up. So then we respected these levels here. Saturday, and Sunday were not as illiquid as the 6th, the level that we talked about, where you got that big leverage spike down. This price action here, as you could see, it's much different than we covered 2 weekends ago in that video. This price action, there's a lot more traders here, there's a lot more volume, and price fills out these areas with perfect bottom wicks all the way up. No flat bottoms, no flat tops, price didn't move too fast. So you come all the way up here, even this candle here, you can see that the low was 2.8201 and the open was 2.8211. So it's a one tick difference, but that does not count for me as a TVP. So we got clean price action with a wick on the bottom or top all the way up here, all the way here, and we've just been coasting on clean price action. Everything's been okay. So that's actually what I would assume a bottom to be. It's very rare that these areas actually get filled like this and don't leave gaps. So more recently, I'll cover the TVP prices. You got clean bottoms here, clean bottoms here. There's your first TVP. You threw it off. Low and open are together here, and you're looking at the latest TVP, which would be the lowest. It threw off a couple more. Once you go up higher, it doesn't make a difference. But the TVP level is 2.8385 at this point. So I can just go ahead and kind of zoom out here so give you guys a bigger picture. There was our diving board pattern over there. Came up here, and then you threw off a TVP down here, threw off a TVP, and then you've been throwing them off all the way up here. So I believe it is possible that if we come down, we can go to this area of 2.8385, but still keep this bottom. Price action is good from this low all the way up to that level. So from a TVP, from a market balance perspective, that's where we're at. The example from the 6th of September, which I was talking about, I'll just show it to you guys real quick here on the 15-minute chart. Binance, that's a great platform to watch. And you got all these areas. See that flat bottom all the way on the bottom there? Illiquid weekend, Saturday, flat bottom, flat bottom, flat bottom, flat tops, flat tops, flat tops. And so you were getting very choppy price action, and we know the price usually comes back down to fill those areas, and oh boy did it, because there was a huge leverage liquidation wick, and we did end up coming down to those levels. So I'll go out a little bit more to the 4-hour. So let's see. So this is where we're at. We've talked about this structure on this channel. We know that sometimes XRP consolidations aren't perfect and they can still make a move to the upside. We had this downward channel here. Price really messed this line up. You know, it really just got extremely volatile, extremely jagged. It couldn't pick a direction due to the compression. And you came up here, you got your breakout, which we talked about. And then you got your revisit down here, a little bit lower, I think, than most people expected. I'm grateful that we didn't actually come all the way down here, because that's the next place that you could be going. But 2.7 held as a wall. And then you came up here, got your diving board right down there. That's where you didn't want to close the daily below. And then you got your move back up here. And now you're forming price action that looks like potentially we get to stretch this trend line out now. So there's your consolidation, break, crazy back test, and then now you're getting a bounce off that line and you're going. So we're gonna see when does this pattern show a true breakout? When you break that high right here of 3.1852, either on this chart or on XRP BTC. When you break the third wave high right there, that's when your move's confirmed, and there's a lot of buy orders sitting right there and a lot of repositioning that needs to happen once price reaches that level, and that's why usually it will spike right through, especially with XRP. So watch if XRP starts getting close to 3.1852, you might get that spiky move. And if not, you're going to come down and you're going to consolidate and you're potentially going to run 2.8385. Now this could be left as a legacy imbalance, but for me, I believe that it's definitely possible that we go ahead and we really get a move out of here. So as far as XRP goes, that's where we're at. Really, what I want to be conscious of right now is that we are really looking to see what the next downward momentum wave looks like, if we get one. So yeah, the rally was cool, don't get me wrong, I'd love to see that. And now we're going to see, once we lose momentum, if we lose momentum, I'm not saying we do, we might just parabola out of here, but if we lose momentum here, where do we come down to? And we definitely do not want to run this low of 2.7. If 2.7 wall breaks, that opens the door to much lower prices. And we're going to see, when we get our next pullback, how deep is that pullback? If we just fill 2.8385, then I believe we're still good to go for the upside. And potentially, we could finally be getting our move out of here, long awaited. I'm actually surprised, with how resilient XRP holders have been, and that's where we're at, and we're about to see if we can get our final leg. There's a macro structure in play, and if we start getting a move out of here in the next couple of days, I'm gonna start talking about targets for the first time ever on this channel, and I'm gonna start talking about exit strategies. As far as how far it's potentially we're gonna go here, and how much time we have left. So as for XRP, we're getting a move up, and I'm excited to see if we get to continue. But as far as XRP price, I'm always looking, if you get a move up, what's the next move down? I want to see at least one more move down or an explosion at the top, before I really can feel confident about this pattern. So looks good so far, and I hope that everyone has a wonderful day, and thank you.